Hi everyone, I'm Sashem Brey. Every weekday, I share a segment called Watching Your Wallet on 13 Action News. In case you missed it, or if you want a second look, every Friday, I'm going to take you through a little recap of the financial topics that we covered throughout the week. So today, we will explore resources to find a new house within your budget and what happens now that the Biden-era Save repayment plan is being discontinued. We'll also cover steps to reduce your risk if you become the victim of a data breach. Plus, as tax day fast approaches, a reminder about why procrastinating is not your friend. And finally, ways to prepare yourself and your budget in case of an unexpected job loss. Here's Watching Your Wallet. Whether they're housing trends or just hot topics, Dave Meyer makes it his mission to educate everyday people about what's happening in the market.
We are not in a healthy housing market, and although there are solutions that can help and can restore affordability, there are unfortunately ones that take a little bit of time.
Meyer is the head of real estate investing with Bigger Pockets, and he says while long-term solutions like increasing the housing supply are more policy issues, there are some things that could make finding affordable housing easier for you. First, he suggests looking on the state and local levels for housing assistance programs.
See if there's first-time homeowner down payment assistance programs. Oftentimes, they'll contribute to your down payment, or they can help you cover closing costs.
Next, Meyer says think of creative ways you might be able to increase your own purchasing power.
One thing that we recommend at Bigger Pockets is something called house hacking, which is an opportunity for homeowners to buy a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex, live in one of those units, and then rent out the other 2, 3, or 4 units. Now, I know for people who are struggling to afford just a single unit, that may sound out of reach. But what's interesting is there are programs, including FHA loans, these are government programs that allow you to put as little as 3.5% down on 2, 3, and 4 unit properties. And then you can use the income that you get from those other units to offset your own living costs.
Remember, home ownership may be stressful and challenging, but it's not impossible. Meyer says when looking at down payment programs, see if some of them offer grants or interest-free loans. That will definitely help homeowners out tremendously when it comes to affordability. Listen to this. More than 7 million student loan borrowers are expecting an increase in their monthly costs due to the termination of the Save repayment plan, which was introduced in 2023. Save is an income-driven repayment plan that allowed borrowers to make monthly payments that were tailored to their income and family size.
The goal being a more affordable repayment plan, ultimately leading to forgiveness after either 20 or 25 years of repayment.
Many on the Save plans are now facing options that are far less affordable because the alternative repayment plans calculate income differently. Bonabone switched from Save to one of the other options, which they say increased their monthly payment amount from about $20 to $600.
I had to sit down with my husband because we had to have a really long, hard talk about our finances because, you know, the way that they're determining these repayment rates really affords us no quality of life.
Bona says the process has been confusing and frustrating.
I'm on the phone with an agent from the Department of Education telling me that I don't have a payment while I'm looking at letters from the Department of Education saying that I owe $600. And so it's impossible to navigate.
If you're one of the millions looking for a new repayment plan, student loan lawyer Jay Fleischman says there is no right plan for everyone.
It really is a case-by-case basis.
In a statement, the Department of Education criticized the Biden plan, saying it sought to unlawfully shift student loan debt onto American taxpayers, and that the Education Department will provide support to borrowers and help put them on a path to a sustainable financial future while safeguarding the interests of American taxpayers. Resources like the Loan Repayment Simulator are currently available on studentaid.gov. So as far as the timeline, you can take a breath. You don't have to do anything right now.
There is no deadline to leave the Save plan. So that could take a lot of pressure off borrowers because so many people feel like they're rushing to make a decision in the face of a deadline that doesn't exist yet.
Just know that while payments aren't required during this period, interest is accruing, and the sooner you switch plans, the sooner you can reach forgiveness. A data breach has to be taken seriously because it can literally result in your personal information being put up for sale online. Some businesses even face ransom calls.
I've also seen IT people go into the breakdowns almost because they walk into an office, every computer's got a red screen on it. Your files have been accessed. Please send us X Bitcoin to get your files back. And it's the worst feeling in the world.
Danny Jenkins is the CEO and founder of ThreatLocker, a cybersecurity company that sells tools to help businesses defend against attacks. He says some sectors are more attractive targets, like healthcare, because of how much sensitive information they store.
When you go to a hospital, obviously, you give a lot of personal information. You tell the doctor your biggest problems, they have records, they have scans, they have all your blood tests, they know everything about you. And if they get breached, then that means your data now gets put on the internet.
That is why he says strong security matters, especially with ransomware. And while you cannot always prevent a breach, he says consumers can take steps to limit the damage.
You can do things like lock your credit reports when you're not applying for credit, so then nobody can apply for credit in your name. You can monitor your tax returns and monitor your credit for someone hitting it.
And for anyone managing accounts that hold sensitive information, he recommends turning on two-factor authentication when available.
It doesn't cost anything. It's normally free with every service. It annoys the user that they have to put a second code in, but they'll get over it.
So whether you run a small business, work in local government, or just want to better protect your personal info, the Federal Trade Commission recommends using strong passwords with at least 12 characters. And don't forget, credit freezes are free to place and lift. Whether you do your taxes or someone else files the return, these updated credits and deductions take more time and preparation if you want to keep more money in your pocket.
There's a lot of change this year, a lot of good change that can put more money in your pocket.
Mark Stieber is Chief Tax Officer for Jackson Hewitt Tax Services. He says a tax professional can help you avoid errors and maximize the amount of your return.
It's critically important that you capture all of your tax information because accuracy is critically important. Have a plan that works, and get started as soon as possible because right now is when that stuff starts to come in.
With so many updates impacting credits and deductions, taxpayers may need to do a few extra calculations.
Well, there's a new deduction for people who have tip income up to $25,000 in tax deductions. If you're an employee that has overtime, qualified employee overtime is up to $12,500. There's a new deduction for automobile loan interest if you bought a car in 25 and beyond, and up to $10,000 deductible. And if you're 65 or older on December 31st, there's a deduction up to $6,000 per person.
These are just a few of the newest deductions, but there are more.
You have to have, attention to detail. You watch for those documents. You don't guesstimate. You don't estimate.
And don't wait until the last minute. A little extra time could literally pay off.
You file early, you get your money early. You file early to lock up your data like you lock up your house or you lock up your car.
If someone steals your identity and files a return in your name, stealing your refund, the IRS will reject your later filed legitimate return. So again, file first to avoid the trouble of having to then file a claim of fraud with even more paperwork.
If you're going to owe, file early to find out exactly what you're going to owe so that you can put that money aside because you still do not have to pay until April 15. Filing your taxes are separate from paying your taxes.
You should have received your W-2 and 1099 by now. If not, contact the company for which you work. Individual tax returns are due on April 15th, with extensions for some due on October 15th. For more resources, you can head to irs.gov. According to NerdWallet, 39% of Americans do not feel confident in their financial ability to withstand a loss of income in 2026.
When we look at the data and see a labor market that is welcoming to workers, we see one where hiring rates and quits rates are high because there's a lot of turnover. It's fairly easy for people to find new work, to upgrade their current role to one that's a better match, has better pay, better benefits, but that isn't the case right now.
Elizabeth Renter is a senior economist with NerdWallet. She says hiring is very lackluster and people are staying in their current jobs because they know the environment is unfriendly. Renter says when people are also worried about losing a job, it points to a lack of household financial resilience, meaning your ability to withstand unexpected job loss or bills. If this is you, she says, focus on your access to emergency savings and credit.
Always look to bolstering your emergency fund in times of uncertainty. So experts recommend you have 3 to 6 months of living expenses set aside. That's a very tall order for most people, right? But start small. Don't be afraid to start small. Set a goal for a couple $100 and then $500 and then up it to $1,000.
Renter says building a substantial emergency fund can take years, and that's okay as long as you're making some progress. And also, she says make a plan to pay down your high interest debt and stop putting new expenses on the card that you're trying to pay off. With this Watching Your Wallet, I'm Sashem Brey.